And welcome back to the Hi Guys podcast. I'm your boy Mondo. To my right, aka Jets fan Carlos. To my left, Double Chin Champ.
What up?
And if you use our advice, you will win your fantasy league. Just let me know that. All right, today we're going to jump into wide receivers. I know it's Sunday, we're in the middle of the games, but Brandon, who do you think's standing out today?
There's a big one coming out of LA, and it's not the Rams and it's not Cooper Kupp. Although the Rams did have a good one. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The one I want to talk about is Keenan Allen. This dude, he came out, dropped double touchdowns early, had over 100 receiving yards. This guy's a stud, man. He came out and showed out today.
I think he's a stud because Justin Herbert's throwing the ball. If what's the quarterback's name for the Falcons, Ritter? If he was on the San Diego Chargers, no chance.
Nothing.
Nah.
Wow, they have good wide receivers though. They have London and what's his name, the tight end.
Yeah, but Drake London's first game was today.
And speaking about Drake London, he also produced today as well.
Finally, I needed him to come out.
He dropped a touchdown as well, going for 18 points. He's probably in the mix in the middle of the receivers, how well they played so far. Last week, he had a bagel for his stats.
Yeah,
this week, he has 18.7. Had 6 receptions, 67 yards, and a touchdown, I believe.
So I think he's going to play peekaboo with the points all year.
Well, last week they were run heavy, and this year that was a good game versus Green Bay too. So
it was tight game.
Not the way it ended, but
another receiver that went pretty crazy. Talk to me, Mr. Charlos. Give me one.
You know what? Buffalo had a nice wide receiver that went off, but it wasn't Stephon Diggs. It was Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis got 18 points today.
I benched him like
Can't believe it.
Davis, I know, right? I needed Stephon Diggs to give me a fucking touchdown so I could win $300, but nope. Man. Gabe Davis, 24.20 to be exact.
He had one last week.
He had 6 receptions, 92 yards, touchdown, and a 40-yard reception, 7 targets. So he produced.
But he's still 13 points for one of the leagues that I have him in. At least 13 points. Like I said, at least he got 10 plus. So it's not a disappointing day.
I'm not surprised, playing against a shitty ass team like the Raiders. But I guess that's the topic.
Well, I mean, they almost beat him by 30, and Stephon Diggs had no touchdowns. So where all the touchdowns go?
Davis and Knox. When we talk
about
Dawson
Knox,
he had
had a touchdown too.
That's what I'm saying.
Give me another wide receiver that you got on your list, Mr. Mondo. We had so far. We got the LA Keenan Allen, and we got who'd you say over there, Mr. Charlos?
Gabe Davis.
I want to talk about two wide receivers actually. KJ Osborne on the Vikings and the rookie also Addison on the Vikings too.
Yeah,
double Vikings
right.
And it's not Justin Jefferson.
Right. No, and look, the first game it looked like KJ Osborne had like a case of the wheelies because he had like 3 drops that were pretty bad, and Addison had a good game. Addison had a second good game.
That's crazy because that's how it works in the NFL. Like, you have Justin Jefferson, the number 1 wide receiver, and now you have Addison. And Addison, I'm telling you, the way he's going off, you have to see Justin Jefferson. He might be, you got to step it up because just like any league, look at Ezekiel Elliott. I know I'm jumping a little bit, but your right replacement's right behind you, and Addison's going horny.
Yeah, I think KJ Osborne's number 3 in that lineup. Jordan Addison's the number 2 wide receiver. So whenever the Vikings play a good cornerback, I'm going to put in Jordan Addison and KJ Osborne. It's like the Bengals trio, honestly.
So far we got Keenan Allen from the Chargers. We got Gabe Davis out of Buffalo and 2 receivers out of Minnesota that is not Justin Jefferson. That is very interesting. My next wide receiver.
Not Justin Jefferson and not Stephon Diggs.
That's very interesting. That comes to show you guys when it comes to picking wide receivers, sometimes the number 1 wide receiver isn't the best choice. Because they will be getting the most attention from the defense.
Yes, sir.
My next wide receiver that I'm choosing is another 30-point scorer in our league. He went off again, another number 13, like Keenan Allen, but he's coming out of Tampa Bay. My boy Mike Evans.
Yeah, man.
Baker Mayfield's showing off, but let's stick with wide receivers real quick. Let's stick with wide receivers real quick. This guy, Mike Evans. I mean, Baker Mayfield's distributing the ball perfectly all over the court, or the field. If you see the other stats of the other receivers, we got all of them with like 6 targets apiece or 6 catches to 8 targets apiece. Same thing with Mike Evans, but he made his production with a deep threat. He had a 40-plus yard bomb. He had a receiving touchdown. He also had 171 receiving yards today. My boy Mike Evans went off.
Honestly, I thought Mike Evans was going to fall off the face of the earth with Baker Mayfield throwing the ball. But he's doing better than when Brady was there, honestly.
Wow.
Honestly, as soon as they told me,
disrespectful son of a bitch.
Well, no, because Brady threw the ball to Godwin a lot more than he did Evans.
that's true. But as soon as I heard
Godwin, he had a
that,
good game too. That's what I was looking for.
as soon as I heard that they weren't gonna extend his contract, I was like, oh, it's Mike Evans' season.
Oh, he's
gonna
ball out.
off.
Yep.
He's gonna try to get that contract coming up soon.
He's gonna go to the Raiders.
So would you say Evans is wide receiver 1 and Godwin 2?
Oh, I think
mean,
it's been like that for a while, in my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, when Brady was there, it just depended on the matchups too. Because Mike Evans still had 1,000-yard season.
I think Godwin had a 1,000-yard season
Right, they
too.
both did.
Both of
That's
them did.
crazy, man. But that's Tom Brady too. This is Baker.
But I think Godwin had most of the red zone targets, and Leonard Fournette had
Now
the red
we're
zone.
going to be going into receivers that let us down this week, while I go into this last receiver that also gave us 30 points. This kid is a rookie. He's been balling out the entire time, and he even played the Niners defense, who is a really great defense, to this week. Last week he produced really well, had 15 targets. This week he had another 20 targets. I'm talking about Puka Nacua coming out of the Rams with no Cooper Kupp, and they're relying on the rookie. My boy went for 30.1 in our league. Hey, man, he's getting
That was a
all
waiver
the
wire
production.
pickup of the week.
Yes,
we called
yes,
that. We called that one.
He had 2 rush attempts for 4 yards. He had 15 receptions for 147 receiving yards.
Against the Niners loss, too.
Against the Niners with no touchdown. And my boy's going crazy. I mean, it doesn't say he got a touchdown here. Let me double check that.
I mean, is that game over yet or no?
touchdown. The game is
Yeah,
over.
It just
over.
ended? Okay.
Yes. Let me see who won. It looks like the Rams lost 30-23. So it was a pretty good matchup against them.
I think that was closer than anyone would have thought. I thought it was going to be a blowout.
If I'm being honest, I think
the Rams' offense is looking pretty good. That's why I sat the Niners' defense, because I think I was going to be a high-scoring game.
I think if I'm being honest, even when Cooper Kupp comes back, Puka Nacua is going to be a solid flex to
start.
wide
Yes,
receiver
yes.
to start in your fantasy.
the
lineups.
Rams have
Yeah, I
a
would
pretty
keep them
nice,
on my lineup.
deep wide receiver core. So I'm going to start us off about disappointing, because I got a 2-for-1 special when it comes to disappointing wide receivers. Unfortunately, in our league, I ended up with, Ridley and Ayuk did ham and cheese for me last week. I think I got like almost 60 points between both of them. And this week I got a combined 12 points between them.
No.
I mean, McCaffrey, it's Purdy, and Purdy wins. So, I mean, going off a little bit, but this is Purdy's now 7th straight win without losing. And he knows how to use all his weapons. And this week it was McCaffrey. I mean, McCaffrey got 35 last week, but Ayuk, 7 points. I still think that's the wide receiver 1. It's just, it goes every game. It's different. Ridley with the Jaguars and the Chiefs, that was an interesting game, and he tried towards the end. That Jaguars, I think I felt it was like a really slow game, but they just couldn't connect. This almost knocked his head out at the goalpost. But so I got two guys who everyone wanted me to trade, and now I'm hearing crickets probably.
You're backing now?
But maybe Ridley's on the trade block, so
Okay.
hit me up, y'all.
Not
It
really.
is week to week. So, like, this year, I kind of want to do a different strategy where I trade every week just to win it.
Really?
I mean, but it's hard to find somebody's going to trade you every week.
It's just my thing is,
It's
like,
hard to
if
find
I'm
somebody to
trading
trade
you,
for
I'm
you.
trying to get the best deal. I'm not trying to help you. So
I mean, come on, dude.
what do you mean, come on, dude?
Come on, man. Come on.
Why would I give you someone that's going to help you beat me later on?
Because I
I
need to
don't
beat
get
you.
it.
You've
wanna
already beat me
play
a couple
off
years
the
in a
waiver
row.
wire?
No, he's saying he wants to trade, like, if I
trade.
need a wide receiver this
Like, I'm
week.
requesting
or,
trades every week.
Okay.
bullshit ass trades. Like, well, I don't know.
What do you
Ridley
mean? Not
versus
bullshit,
Barkley.
like-
Maybe I think that would, now that I look at it, I hope this game's going.
That's
I
not
think
bad.
it wouldn't have been bad, but
I mean, wide receivers, it just depends on the matchup on how they're going to do. Running backs, also the same thing, what defense is, one's defense it is. If it's a top 10 defense, be prepared to be a little disappointed. If it's a
Damn, I
top
think
10
I lost.
cornerback, be prepared to be disappointed.
well,
Okay, so disappointment of the week is going to be me, honestly.
I was going to say that.
I'm
That
the
was my
worst.
choice too.
Yeah, I'm the worst fantasy manager but I seem to have won 4 out of 5 leagues.
You son of a bitch. That was me last week. So
Yeah, but
whatever. Kick
I
rocks.
benched Tyler Lockett and he scored 25 points. He went ham with 8 receptions, 60 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And I benched him.
That was interesting though, because that was a very high scoring game. The Lions and the man. I don't know. I think I'm a Lions fan.
You said how many points did he score?
In this ESPN league I'm in, he scored 25.9. So
I think he might be one of the top 5 receivers of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on who's going to show up that week. You don't know if it's going to be Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf.
Well, they had Metcalf locked down, and then he got hurt. He got fucking rocked for a little bit. So then they took his ass to go get checked out. So and after that, I think they kind of just stuck with him.
Right,
a receiver who I think that let us down this week, although it got 9 points, I believe. Yeah, so it's not necessarily a letdown, but due to the person who he is, the receiver, the caliber of receiver that he is, Jamar Chase, and not bringing the numbers that we normally see, we normally want to receive in the fantasy football world. And it has to do with his quarterback, which we'll talk about in a little bit later in the quarterback segment. But he's not, and this guy can't, I mean, any receiver over at Cincinnati hasn't been able to catch the ball.
Not T. Higgins Day.
Yeah, I was about to say today was T. Higgins Day.
Today's T. Higgins Day. That's
T. Higgins
right.
got 30 points for us. He had 8 receptions, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 12 targets. So
He had 30 points in
Almost
the
what I
Yahoo
was
leagues.
saying.
But the Bengals fucking popped off late though. They started off being fucking embarrassing. But definitely Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase cost me. I could have won like $190 last week.
Well, I mean, that's the problem when you have a 3-headed monster at a wide receiver. One of them is not going to show up that game.
Man,
And
I
especially
always.
your favorite one's not going to show up every game, too.
But Jamar Chase is the very clear number 1 option, and T. Higgins is number 2. And
What did I just say? It depends on the matchup. Who's going to be number one?
go fuck yourself.
Real quick, well, let's try to get the top 5 receivers. I think number
Hold
1
on,
is going to be.
I'm sorry, real quick. To add to that, Carlos, they played Baltimore defense, who has probably one of the top 10 cornerbacks in the league.
I don't know
All right,
about
so
that.
let's go on. I'm sorry.
So I think the top 5 receivers of the week so far going into Sunday night's game, we have Keenan Allen and Mike Evans going at 1 and 2. Puka Nacua, who also went for another 30 bomber this week. He's probably up there at top 3. You had what was
T. Higgins. T. Higgins 30 points.
Yes, sir. T. Higgins is at number 4, and then
you know what? Real quick, Christian Kirk. Today was the wide receiver 2 option. He got 24 points. Really got like 9 points or something. But
man.
Christian Kirk was getting all the looks. I was red zoning it today, like I always do, and it was definitely Christian Kirk. At one point, I thought Rayleigh was maybe hurt or something because that fool was non-existent. So,
Well,
but it was all Christian Kirk.
I think
today.
you've heard me say this once or twice. It just depends on the matchup, on what receivers.
It's
in
like the
there.
9th time I
Definitely.
heard it. But one time, what was it? Depends on the what?
The matchup?
And then real quick before we go on to our next topic, like you said, depending on the matchup, I picked up Josh Reynolds matchup against Seattle, gave me 23 on the flex. That was an awesome pickup last minute. But those are the top 5 receivers for the High Guys this week, our highest receivers of the week going into Sunday night's game.
Right, I told him that.
Up
Morning,
next,
I get it.
I get it.
Yegi.
Up next, we got the running backs. In this segment, we're going to be talking about the running back position and the highest running back in this week and even our slumpest players of the week. Starting off first, I'm going to be touching up on Rachaad White, who everybody said to sat. Even I sat in a few of my leagues. Rachaad White ended up dropping 22.3 in this league that I'm in. He had a few rush attempts at 17, a few, right? That's most of the rush attempts in the game. My boy has 73 rush yards, a rushing touchdown, and he also had 30 receiving yards with 5 receptions on 5 targets. So if you play in a PPR, that's 5 extra points for you. Mondo, give me your take.
I picked up Zach Moss on the waiver wire,
Embarrassing.
thinking I'm gonna start him because he's playing the Houston Texans or whoever the hell they are, and
The Oilers.
I decided
Aren't
to
they
sit
the
him. Yeah, I decided to sit him over Mostert, but like usual, when you sit him, he goes ham and cheese.
Yeah, no shit.
Zach Moss went with 17 rush attempts, 123 yards, 4 receptions, 36 yards, and sorry, I'm talking about the wrong guy here.
Wow,
rookie.
Sorry, my bad.
I'm not gonna talk too
I was
much.
like 103 yards. Like, what's wrong with that?
That was me last week.
Yeah,
So
18 rush attempts, 88 yards, a rushing touchdown, 4 receptions, and 19 receiving yards.
come on, man. We've done like 30 episodes of this shit.
Oh, man. I was looking at the wrong
Props
guy.
to that, everybody. High five. 30
Hey,
episodes. I don't know if it's 30
let's
exactly, but it's un
go.
chingo. So I'm gonna talk about because I got my stats guy. I got Christian McCaffrey. He threw for 300 yards. Oh wait, my bad.
Damn.
No, the wrong guy. Who am I?
Was he Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
man.
you're right. Oh, wrong 49er. My bad. McCaffrey, he got 26 points. He got 35 last week, so I'm not complaining. I do not regret him as the number 1 pick. So I'm not gonna lie, I was scared, but
honestly, I had my doubts too.
Me too. That's why, you know. So, but anyways, 20 rush attempts, 116 yards. He got a touchdown, 3 receptions, 19 yards, and he had a 40-yard rush. So
for being the number 1 pick overall in most fantasy drafts, he is surely playing like the number 1 pick
You're
this
absolutely
year.
right, man.
He is going crazy both the first game and the second game. Someone who didn't go off so bad in the first game, but came and surprised everybody in the second game. He even ended up in a couple waiver wires in a few of my leagues. And Mr. Carlos, you benched him, so I know you're regretting this one. DeAndre Swift, your boy went for 30-plus points in our league for 31.1.
Yeah.
He had 28 rushing attempts with 175 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown. He had 3 receptions for 3 receiving yards, and a 40-yard rush.
He was benched. Yahoo Fantasy posted on their Instagram that he was benched 72% of league. In their whole leagues, where the millions of people who play, he was on the bench 72% of people.
Jeez.
Why? I benched him. I'll tell you, I benched him over Tyler Algier, which did ass.
Oh yeah, they both suck today.
And Bijan didn't do too not too horny, but I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking against the Packers. I also thought the Packers were gonna win that game, but what the fuck do I know, right?
So, Mr. Mondo, give me another running back that you got real quick.
Let's say I was chasing points by starting Tyler Algier because I benched him last week and I missed out on points. So I was like, you know what? Maybe he goes ham and cheese again. But no, Bijan Robinson took all the points this week. Tyler Algier with 16 rush attempts and 48 yards. He still had the attempts, but the yardage just wasn't there.
Yeah. Also, Tyler Algier, like I was watching the game, he was going ham. Like he was trying. You know, you can see him like. This fool, I can see the hype, man. This fool powers through,
Tyler
and he fucking goes ham.
He's like a LeGlaire Blunt, low key. He runs down the hill really hard. We're gonna be going into the most slumped guys of the week, but before that, Carlos, give me one more running back that went off this week that's notable and worth.
This game just ended, but Brian Robinson, the running back for the Commanders, so the Washington Mondos. Not everyone will get why I say that, but he got 30 fucking points, bro, and that's insane. Like, who would have thought? He had 18 rush attempts. He had 87 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 42 yards, receiving yards, and he had 2-point conversion. And that gets you points too, ladies and gentlemen, 3 targets. So Brian Robinson out of Washington, that was a crazy high-scoring game. The Commanders are kind of in a funky spot right now, but they took this dub versus the bitch-ass Broncos. Broncos country.
Let's
cry. Cry, my guy.
I said cry, yeah.
Thank you.
Let's cry.
I'm going to talk about Madison. I know he had a disappointing game on Monday night. 8 rush attempts, 28 yards. That's like less than a yard or an attempt. That's bad.
Damn.
My boy did nothing.
Now, 3 receptions with 11 yards and a fumble rooski. So I think after that fumble, he's just going to be benched.
I got another really, really slump player that went really bad. He's probably the slumpiest player of the week. Dalvin Cook in the Jets. Once again, not many Jets are good anymore now that Rodgers is gone. The only one that's viable is your boy Garrett Wilson, as we saw him go for 68 to the crib. But my boy Dalvin Cook, he went for negative 0.8 in our league.
Yes, that's wild.
Versus the Dallas defense, which has proven itself again this week. My boy had 4 rush attempts for 7 rush yards, and he had 1 reception. For 5 receiving yards and a fumble lost.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I knew about the Dallas defense last year because you heard me listening to this podcast. But you know who was I'll give you a disappointing one too. AJ Dillon, 7.30 points. I know that's 7 points, but Jones is gone, so this was a big boy. But
you know,
it just clearly shows you now, like it's either Jones and Dillon's fucking whack. Like that's not I didn't even see number 2. Like these other fools were popping off. So. But, so that was kind of disappointing because I felt like this was time this fool to shine, and he definitely
didn't do it. He Madison
exactly.
Now, the last slump player of the week, I got your boy Travis Etienne coming in from Jacksonville. Your boy, he went for 22 last week. This week versus Kansas City, he had a tough matchup at 6.2 points. It wasn't too bad, but only had 40 rushing yards and 3 receiving yards. Next week, he has Houston. Better matchup there. maybe you want to look back at Etienne that week.
Give him another
this
chance.
Yeah, because look at the fucking Colts running backs, and even their back and fucking quarterback went ham and cheese on the fucking Texans. So
yeah, the
Texans being Texans, man. So
it's an open fence over there.
We're gonna be going into our break. Coming back from the break, we got the couple more extra positions that we want to talk about that are our highest players of the week. I'll tell you that when we come back. Make sure you get faded, stay high.
Corny.
We are the High Guys. We'll be right back.
Hi Guys FF Podcast. Love y'all.
Scoop, scoop.
The other day I did that, and Lorenzo was like, "Oh, he goes, you do that on your podcast." Swear to God. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hi Guys Fantasy Football Podcast. On this segment, we are going to get on to our next position, a very tasty position, the quarterbacks.
What is up?
We had a lot of high-producing quarterbacks this week, so we had a lot of ones that we didn't really expect. So, Mr. Brandon, who is your first horny quarterback of the week, or high? What would you call the guys? Highest? Our highest quarterback of the week. There you go. I like that.
So far, going into Sunday night's game, which hasn't been played yet, we have our highest quarterback at 62.4 points in our league, going into Kirk Cousins. Round of applause to my boy Kirk Cousins for leading, and I'm sure he'll be at the top for this week. My boy is going out and showing up. Even though he got the loss against Philadelphia, he still produced really well. He had 364 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns.
He's not prime time, man.
4 passing touchdowns.
But he got the L, man. He's not
prime
2
sacks.
Time.
He had fumble loss. Otherwise, he had a little bit more points. And he had a 40-yard bomb as well. Kirk Cousins, he's playing really nice. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
He has the receiving group around him to do it. I think up next he has the Chargers, who so far have led up many receiving yards. If you see the game against the Dolphins, of course it's Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle there. But if also they played this week, who they play? Seattle it was.
The Chargers lost to Seattle. Yes, that was crazy. That was a last minute thing. But
was it Seattle?
No, that was the Lions who played. The Chargers played Tennessee, the Titans. They lost to the Titans in Tennessee.
And even those receivers were going off.
Man, the Chargers just have something. That's another quarterback that really did good. Herbert in our league, Zone's mama has Herbert, and he got 46 points today. So he was, they're popping. The Chargers have a good team. It's just something's up. He had 305 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. He got sacked 3 times though. And he rushed, and he had a 40-yard completion. So he did good, but it's just something's up with the Chargers.
They can't get the W. They can't finish up the game. Someone who couldn't finish up the game 2 weeks in a row as well. But in the first week, he didn't do so great. They weren't sure if he was back, if the coach did any difference. This week, they went out and proved their offense is different. Russell Wilson had 308 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. He had an interception. He had 7 sacks. That O-line needs to tighten up.
Fuck.
He had 6 rushes for 56 rushing yards, a fumble loss, and 3 40-yard completions up against Washington. He had 54 points. Is Russell Wilson back?
Well, he's definitely looking like an old version of himself, because Russell Wilson was a very, a pass first. He would do his nice amount of running. So, he's definitely looking like his own self. Yes, but the Broncos are gonna do nothing if he's getting fucking sacked 7 times. That little poor guy, he's tiny too. So. That fool's fucking getting rocked. But
up next, he has Miami. How do you think he's gonna deal there?
Well, they definitely need a dub. They're 0-2, So fuck the Champagne experiment's not looking like it's off to a good start. But I think it'll be a good matchup. But the Miami defense is not bad either. So if that O-line doesn't get it together, like you said, might be another rough matchup. But passing wise, they have good weapons. They have Judy. They have who else they have? I don't remember. I
think they had Cortland Sutton, but I'm not sure if he's injured. They also have the 2 running backs in Javonte Williams, and they have I forget his name, Samaje Perine, who's also great. But give me another quarterback that did really great this week so far.
I'm gonna give you my quarterback, Mr. Jared Goff. Mr. Jared Goff got me an exciting 46 points. I would have liked a lot more because I'm losing right now, but I can't complain. 323 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. He did throw an interception and a fucking pick 6. That's what killed it. That pick 6 was nasty at the end. That pick 6 pretty much cost him the game. That was actually a really good game, that Seattle Lions game. I was looking at the stats. Every time those two fools play, they fucking throw bombs. It's always a high scoring game, and
correct.
Crazy way it ended. But
and if I'm
Goff,
not mistaken, that's Goff's first interception.
Yes, he went. He was third place now. Rodgers is like at 402. Tom Brady was at 399. And Goff was like one, I think, under or two under or something like that. So
I see,
that's crazy, man. Again, last year the Lions were heavily slept on. Obviously, all the drama with Aaron Rodgers last year in Green Bay. So it was no one really paid attention till the end. So a lot of teams were like that. But Goff, I put it on my little analyzer. I did my research, and 3 out of 4 research play. Actually, all of them told me that I should have started Goff or Burrow. So bring into the next subject, Burrow, 33 points. I have him in another league, and
it started off not well. I have him in one of my leagues, and he came in doing the same thing he did last week, not doing no production, nothing coming out our way. We were even in our chat talking about how we need to drop Burrow or trade him.
Everyone, a lot of us in our league have multiple leagues, and funny, a lot of people have Burrow. I have Panda has my sister has in another league. Actually, she has in the HighGuys league, and we were all like stressing. And again, I was gonna start Goff in my other league, and I was just like, I was heavily leaning towards Goff, and then I did my thing, and it was like, no, well, Burrow. And
how do you end up doing? Can you got a stat line there?
I can get free right now, but he ended up with 33 points. I'll tell you right now. And he really did. He really also helped out for T. Higgins. So he ended up with 222 passing yards, 2 pass touchdowns. He did throw an interception. He got sacked. And then he did rush for 5 yards.
That's pretty good. I was going to also
that was all the second half.
I wasn't sure about starting Burrow either this week in my other league. So I was going to sit him for this other quarterback, the rookie in the Colts, Indianapolis, Anthony Richardson, who was having a very big game coming up prior to his injury. He had already 2 rushing touchdowns. Let me bring him up real quick, guys. He had 2 rushing touchdowns going for 23 points as of before the half. He had 56 passing yards, 3 rush attempts for 35 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. He was going for his career game tonight, and unfortunately he got hit. He was out early, concussion protocol. Hopefully he comes back soon. Hopefully he's back and ready to go for next week, who he goes up against Baltimore. It'll be nice to see 2 running quarterbacks in Lamar Jackson and Richardson.
That was a nice rushing touchdown he got. He was doing pretty good, so it was a shame. Hopefully he is better. Concussion protocol, that stuff is no joke, so, we wish him the best.
And speaking on Lamar Jackson, let's touch on him as well. He went for 46.1 points in our league. Last week, he had a horrible game going up against Houston. He bounced back against Cincinnati. Although he got the win last week, he also got the win this week, going 27-24 against Cincinnati. With 237 passing yards, he had 2 passing touchdowns. Sick. He had 12 rushing attempts for 54 rushing yards.
That's
and
wild.
40-yard completion to my boy Zay Flowers. Shout out to that, Lamar.
Yeah, man, Zay Flowers popping off too. So shout out Zay Flowers.
I'm not sure. Did I talk about Daniel Jones yet?
Nope, you have not.
I want to talk about Daniel Jones real quick. For a team that hasn't scored any points coming into this game, they got blown out by the
Cowboys.
The Cowgirls. This week he went up against Arizona. He dropped 57 points, showing that he is a good quarterback. He had 321 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. He got intercepted once, sacked 3 times. He had 9 rush attempts for 59 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown with a 40-yard completion. Daniel Jones went out. The Giants woke up. They finally said it's time to ball out. Even Saquon Barkley was getting up in there. I'm not going to lie. I seen him in the end zone twice.
Finally. Yeah, it was well needed, and you know what? This is the only way he's going to justify that insanely terrible performance on week 1 is he has to do it again and again. So until I see him being consistent, I don't know. Fantasy wise, that worked out. You took a fat L last week, but I would be content with this. So,
and then I just want to touch on 2 more quarterbacks before we go on to our next position. I want to touch on an IE native coming out of Rancho, our boy out in Houston, C.J. Stroud, going in projected for 29.22, going for 43.5, going for 384 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. His line needs to tidy up. They got 6 sacks on him, 3 rush attempts for 1 rushing yard and a fumble loss, unfortunately. But our boy CJ Stroud, shout out to you, my guy. 43 big ones, bro. Hey, I can't wait to see him. Hopefully he keeps it going and does better. Nico Collins going off for them.
Yeah.
It was a great game for Houston. Unfortunately, they lost, but hey, they were doing great. As long as they can keep producing, they'll be fine.
Make sure to follow us on HighGuysFFPodcast. What are you waiting for, boss?
And then the last one that I want to talk about before we move on is shout out to Joshua Dobbs. He came in Arizona and he played really well, dropping 42.9 points. He unfortunately, they lost by 3 to the Giants. I know, who would have thought the Giants came out of nowhere from a donut hole, dropping 31. My boy had a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown. He also had 41 rushing yards and 229 passing yards. Shout out Joshua Dobbs. You're a beast, bro. Keep it up until Kyler Murray comes back.
And I'll give you one last one real quick. Who should have been shouted out in the beginning? GG. It's all good. Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is now 7-0. He has not lost as a starter. Mr. Relevant is doing Tom Brady-ish stuff. So keep an eye out. He's got 27 points today. Not too many, but that would have been okay for a quarterback, and he still got a dub. So handle it.
And that's gonna be it. Just
all right. So next we're gonna talk about real quick, so we can finish it up. We got stuff to do. Tight ends, real quick. Kelsey is finally back. How did Kelsey do today, boss? Oh, you don't know. Did you start Kelsey today? I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, I did.
You did. And were you content? Were you still willing to trade him for Ridley?
If you add something nice on top of it, because Ridley didn't do nothing, bro.
Well, Kelsey got you 12 points, so that is not bad.
He had a touchdown. He had a couple receptions. Not too many yards.
Another tight end that's been kind of doing interesting, not too crazy, not too whatever. Kittle got 11 points for Zoe's mama. What? Oh, yeah, of course. Zoe's mama, 11 points. Kittle. So, very interesting. I picked up in one of my leagues. I don't know if I have it. Hunter Henry is sucking ass right now, but the game just started, speaking as of right now. I got what's his name? Actually, they play tomorrow. The Hurts, right? The tight end for the fucking
Carolina
Hurts.
Yes.
So we'll see how he does tomorrow. I'm hoping he has a good ass game like he did last week, because I picked him up and he is my starting tight end. It was either him or the tight end on the other side, Juwan. But I don't know how Juwan's going to do.
Johnson, right?
Juwan kind of sucked. Yeah, he kind of sucked ass last week. I think he got 6 points. I'm trying to get 10 points out of a tight end.
Someone who was pretty bad last week out in Buffalo, Dawson Knox. Surprisingly, he went pretty good this week.
Finally, motherfucker.
We needed a replacement for someone which wasn't Andrews or Kelsey, because they were back this week. Dawson Knox went off with 3 receptions, 10 yards, but he did have that receiving touchdown that saved his day with 10 points. Dawson Knox, good shit, man.
Bitch ass parasite. He sucked out last year, bro. He was just a fucking tease last year, man. He was good a little bit, and he sucked ass. Waller for the Giants got 13 points. That son of a bitch. So that's horny. That was one of the guys' pigskin. Musgrave, the tight end for the Packers, 4.5 points. That's sad because that's a little bit of points, but that sounds like it's the average tight end score nowadays.
The tight end that I was looking at, my boy over at Detroit Lions, he gave me 8.9 in week 1 when I picked him up for my boy Kelsey because he was out. This week he went for 11.3. This guy's going to be a solid pick if you need him, even if you need him just to pick him up and be your starting tight end week in and week out. This kid is pretty solid. Coming out of Detroit, he doesn't have a tight end that's battling him for tight end 1. He's getting targets. Look, he has 6 targets for 5 receptions. Last week, he had 5 targets with 5 receptions. He's showing his consistency. He's getting 63 yards. If you're in a PPR league, this kid is solid for you. He's going to get you plus 10 points week in and week out. He's going to be great.
But you know who really popped the fuck off was TJ Hawkinson for the bitch-ass Vikings.
Boo.
That my guy was projected at 11 points, and he got 25.60.
Sheesh.
What the fuck? 7 receptions, 65 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 8 targets. So, I mean, Kirk Cousins, honestly, that Vikings team, it's crazy, man, because it's a good team. Good wide receivers, good running backs, good tight ends. Like, they have a stacked-ass team. And realistically, Kirk Cousins is not even that bad either. You know, I hate to say it. So, like, what's the issue? Lack of leadership? Or, you know, that division is not that strong. And I'm not going to sound all, you know, writing Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, but now they have Jordan Love, which lost today. But I mean, definitely he's been decent, you know. So
Jordan Love has been balling out.
Exactly. So I mean, but that division, I mean, I'm sure the Lions. I think if there's one team to be disappointed in the NFC North is the Lions because they're sucking ass. And that was, I mean, I'm sorry, not the Lions, the Bears.
I was about to say, what are you talking about?
The Bears. Like Justin Field, I mean, he's been doing okay, and that division is really, now that Aaron Rodgers gone, anyone's division, and the only people who are like acting like it are like the Lions and the Vikings. I mean, I don't know what's
talking about. Justin Fields, shout out to him because I was versus him in 2 of my leagues, and I think I'm gonna win both because
motherfucker. I had him against you, Dig. Yeah.
And so did Sleepy Time T. Shout out to my boy.
God damn it.
Another tight end that I'm looking at, also out of Buffalo, my boy Dalton Kincaid, dropping 9.3 this week. He had 5 receptions on 5 targets with 43 yards. He is another solid PPR pickup if you need him off the waiver wire.
Josh Allen threw 50 points today, so he was spreading the love today. So there's definitely a lot of points going around with that Buffalo versus the whack ass Waiters game. So
another person who might be in your waiver wire, he was only rostered in 4% of Yahoo leagues. My boy Tyler Conklin coming out of the New York Jets.
Tyler who?
You heard me, Tyler Conklin. The Jets, they have a weak quarterback now. I mean, I'm not going to say, my bad. I said weak. I mean, and it's not normal for someone to just go out and play quarterback in the NFL. So he's not weak, but in the NFL standards, he's weak. And he didn't do well. He hasn't been doing well. He got a couple good solid passes. So you're going to expect a lot of dump offs, a lot of quick passes. And when you think of that, you think of a tight end, Tyler Conklin. Last week, he only had 1 point. This week, solid 10 points exactly. 5 receptions on 6 targets, 50 receiving yards. He might get in the end zone too. He got
poor Jets, man. That's sad.
I know, man. And then you want to talk about the another Jets quarterback, right? You say you want to tell me his stats, his stat line.
Yeah. So,
Aaron
ladies
Rodgers?
and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers' stats for this week is 1 successful ACL surgery. 0 yards, 0 touchdowns. So we're hoping for a speedy recovery. He said that he is willing to come back. He would be able to come back in 5 months and play when the Jets make it to the Super Bowl. So can I get a laughing thing? Because with Zach Wilson,
That's not gonna happen, bro.
Correct. And even and that's the thing. There you go. And even if let's say Zach Wilson miraculously took the Jets to the Super Bowl. And Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm ready to suit up. You know, like, I'm coming back this week. I'm ready. Why will the fuck you play Aaron? I mean, I get that's Aaron Rodgers, but look at the Niners. They said, fuck, Purdy's our guy. Like, doesn't matter who comes back or, like, why would you remove that? So, just because you're fucking Aaron Rodgers, like, you're not Green Bay Aaron Rodgers. You're fucking Jets Aaron Rodgers, which is 0 games played, 4 snaps played.
Hey, but he did say, keep doubting him and watch what he comes and he does when he gets back.
And be fucking wearing a headset like I am right now and telling fools what play he thinks he should play. Like I'm doing right now. So
and another tight end real quick before we finish up the wrap everything up. We got you talked about Darren Waller and Luke Musgrave, right?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to talk about I just
and Hawkinson too.
Someone who didn't do so hot. I mean, someone who didn't do so hot, who came in the first week and I'm not sure he didn't do as much as people wanted him to do for being a drafted tight end in George Kittle. He did a couple of things coming up and down the field, but not really much. Coming in for 6 points, 3 receptions, and 30 receiving yards. That's about it.
I agree.
George Kittle didn't do much, and that's pretty much it.
It seems like the Niners are leading. I don't want to say heavily on like rushing because McCaffrey's doing really good, but. It's crazy. Purdy has a lot of options, and he's definitely playing the defense, playing the team, so he's reading everything really good. Again, I hate to be fucking talking about the Niners like this, so that's how rumors get started. But it's interesting. It's interesting.
Rumors get started.
But
Cole Kmet also had an interesting game with 7.8, 4 receptions, 38 receiving yards. I don't know how the Bears are going to be looking.
Yes.
That's going to be it for our podcast. That's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to follow us on Instagram, HighGuysFFPodcast. Make sure to follow that link. Our YouTube video of our first game, week 1 NFL is going to be up soon, tonight maybe. Hopefully it will. I'll make sure. Make sure to follow the link. Follow us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Pandora, OnlyFans, wherever you want to follow us, at your mom's house, at your dad's house.
I want to shout out my boy Tony. Thanks for the intro and outro, bro. We appreciate you, big dog. It's fire. We love you, bro. This shit, it smacks, bro.
Make sure to set up your lineups. Make sure to place your bets. Make sure to follow us, and make sure, most importantly, to be high.
Tomorrow we got high talks with the high guys, and we'll go over and review the final review of the week, and we'll tell you who we have coming up off the waiver wire. Yeah, we have been the high guys. This is your boy Brandon. That's my boy Carlos. We say goodbye.
Mr. Mike on the mic, as always.
Mr. Yep. And on behalf of my boy, Mr. Mondo. Later, guys. We're out.
Say hi. Damn, I gave a little kiss perfect. That's it.